What's up, Fight Fam? And welcome to the Boxing Bros. I'm Caden, and I'm here with my co-hosts. They'll introduce themselves.
What's going on, everybody? It's Trail.
And it's the TBE, baby. What's up, world?
Hey, this is...
Shout out to the Philippines.
What you say, bro?
I said shout out to the Philippines, yo. Much love.
Yeah, so this is the podcast. This is episode 14, I believe. I'm not even sure. G, you know off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
whatever. We're getting to the point where we don't even know what episode it is, which is a good thing. And we're going to start this one off with Fury, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury says that Deontay Wilder is tougher than Anthony Joshua. And here's how he said it. The quote was, in terms of heavyweights, Tyson Fury said, I flattened the toughest one out there. The toughest one out there is Deontay Wilder. And he was basically saying that in terms of he doesn't believe in Anthony Joshua. He said Anthony Joshua got sparked out by Andy Ruiz, a little tubby guy in America. And so he doesn't believe in Joshua and said he sparked out the toughest heavyweight out there in Wilder. So, Trill, what's your thoughts on Tyson Fury saying that that Deontay Wilder is tougher than Anthony Joshua?
He has to say that. He has to, and I don't want to take nothing away from Tyson Fury, but he has to say that. At first, he was just saying how Deontay Wilder was the worst. He was the easiest. He was the bum. But now, you know what I'm saying, he has to say that, you know, he's the best because he don't want to take away from his accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think, that he don't want to take away from his accomplishment. But we always knew what Deontay Wilder was a one-trick pony.
All right. Ned?
Man, I agree with Chills on this one, yo. Tyson Fury, that's Tyson Fury. He's always talking. He doesn't want to give no recognition to his opponent when you know there's a match on the table, something about to be made. But that's traditional Tyson Fury talking this match. So I get it. Deontay Wilder was the hardest opponent he faced, and he doesn't want to recognize AJ. But you know when AJ lost, it was like, a real one gets right back to it, and things of that nature. So it's whatever. It's a part of the sport when it comes to him. So that's all. I can't really speak on much. He's gonna do it again.
G.
I agree in part with Ned and Trill, but I will say this though: when you watch the first Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight, this is the first time I've seen Tyson drop twice. You know, and so he could be actually telling the truth that, you know, that could have been, you know, the most danger he's ever faced in the actual ring. And so because of that, I'll say this. Let me backtrack. Clearly, Tyson's saying this to sell the fight, right? And he's not going to diminish his own accomplishment, especially in the buildup of the AJ fight. So I see it from both sides, but I do believe he's actually telling the truth because that was a spectacular fight. You know, even though a lot of people believe it was a one-sided fight, he did get dropped twice, you know? And so I could respect Fury for actually saying that. And not to mention, we just don't know, you know, like I haven't seen Wilder versus AJ yet. And so it's up for debate. You know what I mean? Who is the tougher fighter? Is it Deontay Wilder or is it Anthony Joshua? So Tyson Fury is just taking the safe route. I already fought Deontay Wilder, and I'm about to fight Anthony Joshua. So I might as well say Deontay Wilder is the hardest or the most difficult fight because that just boosts his career and not to mention his stock in that fight when they negotiate.
Yeah, my thoughts on it is whatever. As long as you fight him, I don't care what you say. As long as you fight him, if you think you're convincing me or the public that Deontay Wilder's tougher than Anthony Joshua, well, you know, that's for him to decide. For me, I think he's trying to test Anthony Joshua's mental toughness. He wants to see how he's going to react to that, how he'll respond, and he's starting the mind games, basically reminding him of being knocked out by Andy Ruiz. But once again, I never seen Wilder beat Andy Ruiz, and I never seen Tyson Fury beat Andy Ruiz. It's one thing. They're not even 6 degrees of separation to Andy Ruiz. They didn't even beat Joseph Parker. You know, they can't even say we beat the guy who beat Andy Ruiz. So I just to me, it's easy to disrespect Andy Ruiz. Even in our comments, right? I've seen a comment. It said, like, are there any American heavyweights out there? Now, come on. You know me. I'm objective. I speak the truth all the time. Does America have the best heavyweights in the world? Not currently. But still, a fat dude from Los Angeles who doesn't even take training serious got in the ring and sparked out one of the best heavyweights from the UK. So don't send that much disrespect to the United States of America. But Andy Ruiz is not a clown. He's not a joke. If you think Andy Ruiz is a clown and he's a joke, then beat him. It's that simple. He already took down one Brit. So, I mean, just show people their proper respect. I mean, Andy Ruiz, he's not at the top. I wouldn't favor Andy Ruiz to beat Tyson Fury. I wouldn't favor him to beat Anthony Joshua again. But him and Deontay Wilder, you can't just sit there and act like Wilder was sparking him out. Ruiz is a good fighter. And Ruiz is the only fighter in the United States who's actually been training since he was a kid. The only heavyweight in the United States who's been training since he was 7 years old, had an amateur record of 105 wins with only 5 losses. He's the only one, and the only heavyweight who's been training since he was a kid, sparked out one of the best in Britain. So, like, don't disrespect Andy Ruiz. We're speaking about Andy Ruiz. But to keep it honest, Tyson Fury, he's mastered the mind games. He's bringing it to Joshua. If Joshua folds, Fury will beat him because of it. He just needs to say, beat me, and then just let it rock. Like, so.
The point, too, when you said about Ruiz starting from such a young age, a lot of these guys in the heavyweight division are starting in their 20s, their 30s even, you know, so, yeah, you can't just count them out like that just because.
His IQ is so much better than his. That's how he beat Joshua. He beat Joshua on IQ. Joshua made one of the biggest mistakes you can make. He had a guy hurt and went in for the kill too early. Cost himself the fight. But Ruiz had the heart, the courage. So I'm just saying, I'm only responding to this that way because in the
we all know.
Yeah.
We all know where all the great American heavyweights are right now. We all know where they're at.
Yeah.
They're in the NFL.
I think some of them in the NBA, and I saw that too.
In the NBA too. In the NBA too.
I saw someone, I think it was Jay Bagger, who said this. Like, he said he doesn't want to hear that the best heavyweights are in the NFL or in the NBA. Well, you may not want to hear it, but it's the truth. I'm telling you right now, LeBron, listen, you can give these guys a year, 2 years of training, and they'll spark out majority. Look, like the best athletes, do you know the type of athletes that are in the NFL? Do you know the type of athletes that are in the NBA? Like, they're so explosive, so fast. So, in America, the glory's in being in the NFL and the NBA. That's where the glory is. It's not in becoming heavyweight champion. Wilder was heavyweight champion, and more people from the UK were in attendance for that fight than from the US. But moving on to the next topic, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said he's making a comeback to do some charity fights, and there's footage of Mike Tyson training. And I mean, he definitely looked better than the average bear. I say that. So my question is, what are your thoughts on Mike Tyson's comeback, and who should he fight for a charity fight or just in general? I'll start one off with Ned.
He should fight Holyfield. No, jokes aside. That'd be pretty dope.
That's not bad. Yeah. That's not bad, Ned. I think that's not bad.
Nah, yeah. If Holyfield was ready, I don't think Holyfield's boxing ready.
Imagine those people will watch that.
Yeah, they would. He wear earmuffs this time. You know, it'll be an entertaining fight. But if anything, I would love to see him go against Wilder. Wilder was talking all that mess and said, you know, he could beat Fury, beat Mike Tyson in his prime and things like that. So let's see him go up against a 50-year-old Mike Tyson. You know, it would be lovely. It would be lovely to see Wilder do that. But yeah, my take.
All right, G.
Man, you bugging, man. Tyson is too old to be going up against active elite fighters right now. Let's just be real, you know? And so, like, although I do believe that Tyson in his prime would have beat Deontay Wilder, yo, man, he's in his 50s, bro. Like, there's levels to this. You know what I mean? You can't – no one's undefeated against Father Time. Let's just be real.
In that clip, yo, he looked like he could murder anybody right now, man.
I don't want no smoke with no Mike Tyson at the gas station. You know what I mean? But me personally, though, like, who I actually want to see Mike Tyson go up against is actually Lennox Lewis. And the reason why is because when I see Holyfield recently, he looks like really old and kind of like deteriorated. Like, he doesn't really have all his faculties. But Lennox is still sharp. He looks like he's still in shape. Every time he commentates for a fight, you know, he looked like he could go back in that ring. And I know Lennox could do at least 3 to 4 rounds. You know what I mean? So I think that would be a great fight. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, do it for a charity or whatever. Do it for, like, COVID-19 relief, whatever. You know, that would be great.
All right, Trill Dollar Bill, what you got?
Long as it ain't me. Do your thing, Mike. Do your thing, Mike. Long as it ain't me, I'm with it. I seen that clip, I got scared. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mike, hey, whatever Mike want to do, I'm supporting it. I don't care who Mike, but I know it ain't going to be no elite level guy. Just see Mike in there, though, is going to bring out a crowd. Everybody's going to come. Shoot, they might have to make it a pay-per-view event, you know what I'm saying? Or stream it and try to do something.
Mike bring him out.
Mike gonna bring him out. Mike definitely gonna bring him out. I don't care who it is. Who he is, him coming back, him fighting in the ring. Somebody better sign him, hurry up. Eddie, get on the phone, call Mike, sign him to the zone, do something. You know what I'm saying? Put this fight on, because this is gonna be big, no matter who he's stepping in.
I would definitely do it, too. I mean, the money right here in there.
Eddie won't do it. But here's food for thought. I told you how a particular fighter likes him. Undersized, Mike Tyson, 5'10". In his prime, he fought at 218, 220, in that range. Old, Mike Tyson, 53. Knocked out in a prior fight. Mike Tyson was stopped by Kevin McBride. Right? And so we know how this one particular fighter likes him, and Mike Tyson checks all those boxes. He's old, he's undersized, he was knocked out in a prior fight, and he's been inactive for years. Al Heyman, it's your chance. Sign Mike Tyson and get your boy a name on a resume. I don't even have to name this fighter because everybody knows who he is. But being more on to the topic, I actually think he shouldn't do a charity fight. I think he should do a professional fight, a 4-round professional fight on pay-per-view against Dominique Brazil. That's what I think. And I'll pick Mike.
Now you talking. Now you talking. I can see that. I can see that. That would be great.
And I got Mike, baby.
That would be great. That would be good for the sport. The sport, that would be a good jump for the sport. It'll get everybody's heart pumping just to see Mike out there.
And don't do it for you can do it for a purse and donate to charity. But I think Mike comeback pay-per-view against Dominique Brazil. I mean, I'll pay to see that. Speaking of pay-per-view, Bob Arum believes that pay-per-view buys will increase in America if America goes back to charging $40 per major pay-per-view event instead of $80. What are your thoughts on that? I'll start one off with G.
I actually agree with Bob Arum on this. Because when you think about it, like, you know, we got a lot of people already paying like $20 a month for the DAZN subscriptions. You know, you're paying, you know, for ESPN Plus is like what, like $12 to like $15 a month.
What, that went up? I thought it was $5.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think
it's $5.
I got the bundle. That's what it is. I got it with Disney Plus and
yeah. If you get Disney Plus, it's $12. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So disregard the ESPN Plus thing, but at least with like the DAZN now, it's $20 a month, and people are paying it, right? So and I think people's logic is, why should I be paying $75 to $80 for one fight, right? But if the powers that be said, hey, you know what? $80 is too much. Let's cut it in half. Especially after this COVID-19 outbreak, where a lot of people were, lost their jobs and all of that stuff. You got to factor that in as well. You may not, even when people come back, people may not be as willing to pay $80 to watch a pay-per-view fight. So I think it would be smart, at least during this time, in the whole recovery, like when the economy's bouncing back from the whole COVID-19, pandemic, people could be like, hey, all right, you know what? We'll pay the $40 because you're like, I could afford $40. But if you go to $80, people are like, you know what I mean? Because not everybody's fortunate. You got to consider the working class. You got to consider, low income people. You got to consider all of them that would normally support the sport, but may not be able to as of right now. So I agree with Bob Aaron. $40 makes sense.
All right. Ned?
Man, they better make it $40. I just paid $2.19 for premium gas. You see the way the economy's headed, the way everything's dropping right now.
Huh? You got ripped off. It's like $170. Wow.
I'm in the city.
You thought you was getting a deal.
I was like, hey, it's worth it. It went from $280 to $219 in a week, and I'm like 2 weeks. But I'm like, they better drop them prices, man. Because
when they drop prices, they're still getting ripped off, man. Man. They'll drop the pay-per-view prices to $40, and they're still gonna pay $60.
Like, okay, like what?
Trying to support. I'm trying to help a dying economy, man. Come on, now.
Yeah, all right, go ahead, bro. You were saying.
No, but it'll be dope, yo. I think more people will tune in at an affordable price, especially with all of this going on and no live sports. So.
All right, Trill.
I'm with it. Definitely. I think that is the number one reason why people do not order the fights. You go to any barbershop and you be like, yo, you're going to order the fight? How much you going to cost? Oh, man, I ain't paying that much for that fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's usually what deters people away from the fight is the price. So I think dropping it down to 40 would be a good look. People would be more likely to press the button to watch a fight than some outrageous price,
I agree. So I agree, but I have two major issues with pay-per-view as currently constructed. One, it's not worth the money. And two, it's not worth the money because the undercards suck. You're just sitting around not paying attention until the fight you want to see happens, and that costs you $80. So the night sucks because realistically, it's supposed to be a night of boxing, but it's really just a night of everybody bored waiting. Can you imagine a $80 pay-per-view card that has, say, Ryan Garcia fighting a decent opponent, right? Then it has, I know these are guys that with different promotional companies, but this is just for the sake of making the point. Devin Haney fighting a decent fighter, right? Then you'll have Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence, right? Co-main event. And then the main event, Fury versus Joshua. That'll be worth $80. Mm-hmm. That'll be worth $80. That'll be worth $80. I'm sure the people in the UK wouldn't mind paying more money for a card like that. But the problem is boxing has tried to take advantage of the consumer now. You want to make main events that really could go on an undercard and try to sell tickets at an arena. You want to take a mega fight and give a bad undercard and just think that the names alone are going to sell the fight. And it's just bad for business overall. If you're going to give a card for $80, make it worth the $80. But they don't want to do that because, of course, they got to pay the fighters more, all types of things. But what I'm saying is, if you're just going to give us these cards with one good fight on it, make it $40 then. People have to decide, is this worth me not eating as much? Some people. Is this worth me not buying these new kicks? So you got people like, Jordan's or Wilder Fury. I really only want to see one fight. I'm getting them kicks because I can keep them longer. So I think it'll work unless they're going to put on better cards. So the solution is either you lower the price or you start putting on better cards. But if you don't put on better cards, especially here in America, no one's paying that. No one's paying that. All right. So the LDBC says that they have medical evidence that proves that Tyson Fury cheated to beat Deontay Wilder. They are saying Deontay Wilder went to a special doctor, not a doctor that regular people, not a doctor that sees regular Joe Schmoes, but the top of the top, the upper echelon, the elite of the medical profession that has told Deontay Wilder and his team meaning the LDBC, that Tyson Fury, in fact, cheated to beat him and bust his eardrum and do the damage that he did during the night of the fights. Gee, what are your thoughts on that?
Yo, Wilder, man, stop doing this to me, man. Like, I'm telling you, it's harder and harder every day to be a Wilder supporter, man. This is getting crazy. I'm hoping these guys are just making this up in the name of Wilder. Like, I hope Wilder is not affiliated with these statements in any which way. And I'm hoping probably today or tomorrow or sometime in the near future, Deontay Wilder says, y'all guys are bugging. I never said anything about no mythical physician. You know, like, this sounds crazy. It sounds like they're talking about a voodoo doctor. I don't know what's going on. It just sounds so bad.
A voodoo priest.
Man, like, and then it's like, at least give us the name of the doctor so we could at least look him up to see if this doctor is actually credible. I need to see credentials. You know what I mean? Like, real rap. So it's just, man, it's sad, man. And, yo, I get it, yo. Wilder, you need your troops. I get it. You know, they go hard for you. But after a while, you got to be like, yo, fam, hit them up. Like, brothers, please fall back. Y'all making me look worse in these streets. He's not doing that, man. That's why I'm disappointed. So, yeah, I think, and you know me, I don't really like going at other YouTubers, but this is crazy, man. Like, if you at least provide us with the name of the physician, so that way we could go after them or we could research these guys and see, hey, are they legitimate? Are they actually real? Are they licensed? Like, what kind of
Complex MD.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Like what I said to you earlier, Kaden, I was like, man, these dudes are suffering from fanboyism. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, yo, I'm telling you, dudes they're suffering from terminal.
Terminal. Stage 4 fanboys.
Yo, Complex, you know we love you. Boxing cousin, don't be like these brothers, man. You know what I mean? There's a limit to being extreme with your support. Me, I'm kind of like, man, I don't know, man. Wilder got to do something for me, man. He got to at least shut this down. Be like, yo, fellas, enough is enough, man. I lost fair and square.
All right, True.
I'm with G, 100%. I don't got nothing to say. G said everything. Because G, you know why? Because G be taking my notes out of my phone. You know what I'm saying? I know what he be doing, man.
G hacked into your stuff.
He hacked into my joint. All I have to say is that this right here is embarrassing. It is. It's starting, yo, it really is, though. It really, like, all jokes aside, it's really starting to get embarrassing, yo. Like, no champ. I can't recall no champ. But this many excuses after a fight. At some point, where do you as a man step forward and you end this stuff and you just said, yo, B, you got me, you know what I'm saying? You got that one, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna get you on the next one. When does that sit in? When does this is weird. You know what I'm saying? This is weird. It really is. It's starting to get weird. And this obsession with Wilder and his fanboys, his fanboys, the Wildettes. This is
too. It's kind of like they fan debts.
Yeah, fan debts. I haven't seen nothing as crazy as this since the Backstreet Boys when they first. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. This is crazy. I agree with G. He has to make a statement. He has to come out and say, yo, listen, all that stuff aside, I'm not with none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? What it is, I lost to the better man that night, and I'm going to get him again when we hit the rematch. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I would respect that more. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody would respect that more. You know what I mean? That's what I'm waiting for.
I agree. Ned.
Man, I mean, like, what do you expect, yo? Like, Wilder fans are a microcosm of Wilder. Wilder will get knocked out, and he'll come out and say all these outlandish things, and his fans just do the same thing as well. Gee, never mind. But back to what I'm not gonna talk on you, G. But let's go. So I kind of agree. He probably did speak to a voodoo doctor or a witch doctor, and he got some type of fortune told and was like, yeah, he did cheat you. He cheated you. He cheated you when he came out of retirement and made you sign that contract because he know you were fool when you stepped in that ring. So yeah, you got cheated because you cheated yourself, believing you was that false mindset, thinking you was the baddest man on the planet. So,
I'm with you now. I get where you're going with that, Ned. I get where you're going with that, Ned.
Like them corrupt physicians. When you get into a car accident, you're like, I'm about to get paid. You go there, you like, well, listen,
the chiropractor. Chiropractor run up your bill for you.
Oh, bro, I need you to say I'm in a wheelchair right now so I can get paid. You know what I mean? Like, Wilder probably got one of them physicians, man.
Fury saw an opportunity to steal candy from a baby when he heard Wilder wanted to fight him. So he took it. He gladly took that fight, man. So he cheated you, Wilder.
I went with Ned first said. Maybe he did go to a doctor. Maybe this was a confidence doctor. You know what I'm saying? For real. This was a confidence doctor. And he was like, you really didn't lose that fight. You really didn't lose that fight. He had him thinking some type of cuckoo doctor, some type of shrink.
He had one of those guys from Grey's Anatomy who auditioned for it. Like, there's no way you could have lost naturally. As soon as he walked out the room, Al Heyman slapped him the money.
He thought he was a real doctor because he seen him on TV. He went to go see House. He went to go see House.
Oh, man.
Well,
He
here's
said
the deal.
House, yeah.
What'd you say, bro?
Gregory House. You know what I mean? Yo, y'all are the worst, man.
Man, listen. Here's the truth, man. There's a number of things wrong with this. For one, there's only one way you can get someone's medical records. Fact. I can't get anyone's medical records. Even if you were an attorney, you can't get someone's medical records. In Massachusetts and in the US, it's because of HIPAA laws, right? So if there was someone who slipped and fell on my lawn or slipped and fell on your property, and they're saying that they broke their leg as a result, you would want their medical records because you want to make sure they didn't have any prior injury and they're trying to sue you for something that's not your fault, right? In order to get their medical records, you have to request it from the court. They have to voluntarily give them to you, or you have to request it from the court. So you file a motion requesting the medical records. And that's when the judge will hear why you need it, your reason for it, and then rule on whether or not you can receive the medical records, right? And that's how you get someone's medical records. Unless the person just hands you their medical records. And that's how you get medical records. So I say that to say, how the hell would a YouTuber end up with Deontay Wilder's medical records? Seriously, how? Did they file a motion to the court and said, I need these medical records to prove that Tyson Fury couldn't beat Deontay Wilder in a fair fight? And the judge was like, this is logical. I demand the LDBC get Deontay Wilder's medical records. No, we know that didn't happen. So now the next thing has to be Deontay Wilder gave them his medical records and said, tell the world that Fury cheated. Do I believe that happened? Hell no. I don't believe that happened. I don't believe Wilder handed over his medical records, privileged information, that a doctor can get fired for telling someone that information. If Wilder didn't authorize it and the judge didn't rule that the medical records can be given to a third party, and the doctor told them that, the doctor's gone, license gone, job gone, violating confidentiality agreements. Your medical status is for you to disclose. How do these YouTubers claim they got this from? They could only get it from Wilder. And this is why Wilder and Wildets, y'all get mad at me. But this is what frustrates me about Wilder. Either you shut them up or you're a part of it. Because the only way they can get your medical records is from you or from a court, and anyone with any common sense knows the court's not going to give them the medical records. The doctors cannot give them the medical records, and the hospital cannot give medical records without the consent of the person whose medical records they're trying to take. So here's my thing. If Wilder is not saying this and is not okay with them pushing it, it's time to disassociate yourself with this channel, with these people. It's time for you to say, look, man, you guys are ruining my name. Everything they do hurts this man, and he doesn't disassociate himself. He doesn't say anything. So, one, either I'm to believe Wilder gave him the medical records, which I don't. So here's what I actually believe. And I'm sorry, guys, this is taking up time. This is just annoying me. So here's what I actually believe. I believe when you compromise your integrity for a fighter, when you lose all credibility to push and promote someone, and that person loses and disappears on you, you can't create no content. These guys are looking around, where's Wilder? We need an interview. We need this. They're not getting it. So now they had to create all types of excuses as to why he couldn't lose. They had to create all types of stuff to get views, to get clicks, to get all that, because they compromised their integrity for one fighter. They can't go up to Joshua, not after all the trash you talked about him. That wasn't objective. I'm pretty sure if you said objective things about Anthony Joshua that he could at least agree with and say, I can see that point. If you walked up to him as a man, he'd shake your hand. He doesn't have to agree with what you said, but at least it was fair. So many things that they said about Joshua wasn't fair. So many things they said about Fury wasn't fair. It wasn't objective. It was all BS. So you can't go up to them and you can't get interviews from them. You can't get interviews from Hearn. So now what do? You got to make stuff up. That's what you get. That is what you get. His doctor, let me say.
House is his doctor.
Now that Dr. House is out the house, okay? Let Dr. Caden tell you what happened, okay? Let Dr. Caden, and I may or may not have a doctor too, by the way. I'm just saying. I may or may not have one. Just saying. Let me just say this. He suffered from a medical condition called get your ass whooped. Deontay Wilder got his ass whooped. The way to recover, go home, rest up, fully recover, and have another go at it. That's how you handle that. It's the only way. Yes, he got his ass whooped. He's not the first nor the last man, especially when you're in his profession. But when you get your ass whooped, go home, rest up, recover, get better, and have another go. And if your goal's not good enough, let it go. That's all I gotta say about that, man. So
that's what the doctor said to him.
The real one.
Doctor said you got your ass whooped so bad he must have cheated.
It sounds like he went to Yanle. I'm not gonna lie.
True. What did he say to him? True. What did the doctor say to him?
He said, listen, that boy whooped your ass so bad he must have cheated. You know what I'm saying? That's what he told him.
He said this ass whooping isn't humanly possible. No human can whoop another human's ass away.
Like that bad. He was like, he was cheating. You was unprepared. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. You was cheated. That's what the doctor meant to say. You was cheated. He meant to say that. He said you was cheated. You know what I'm saying? Out of the proper preparation for that fight.
The only excuse now under the book that he can use is like, yo, people, I had Corona that fight. You know what I'm saying? That gotta forgive me. You know?
He already used that. He already said he was sick in like 3 other fights.
I'll tell you, yo, Wilder's gonna be like, I had that COVID. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be horrible, man. Woo, Lord knows.
He gotta say something.
You know.
All right, so Frank Warren wants Daniel Dubois to fight Deontay Wilder if he beats Joe Joyce. What are your thoughts on that? I start one off with Trill.
I got no dog in that fight. Be a good fight. No pick. I got no dog in that fight.
All right, G.
All right, I'm gonna be honest, right? I actually don't like the fight, and the reason why is because this is me being 100% objective. I do believe Wilder will beat Dubois. All right. However, this is what I think he should fight next. He should fight F.A. Ajaba. You know, their styles are like they got the height. However, all right, Dubois isn't the fastest, right? But he does have power. He's a hard hitter. F.A., he's a little faster. F.A. does have power. I think F.A. still going to lose, but it'll be a good fight, and it's a good addition to Dubois moving up in the heavyweight division.
Are you saying you think Daniel Dubois should fight F.A. Chopper next and not Wilder?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, did I say Wilder?
To clarify.
I thought you said Wilder should fight F.A. and Jaffa next.
People for the heavyweight division. I'm saying, Daniel should just fight F.A., because I think that would be a better test. You know what I mean? So, because I'm being honest with you, Daniel's good, but he's not. To me, I'm not really impressed by his skill set. Like he has heart in the ring, but there's a lot of qualities that he needs to fine tune before he can make it to a Wilder. I feel like if you feed him too early to Wilder, he's gonna get beaten. That's not fair to him. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you look at what's his name, Dillian White, right? When he fought AJ, to me, that's not the same Dillian White of today, And so that L still lives on forever. So I wouldn't want Daniel to take a loss to Wilder as of right now when he has a lot more development. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I say wait.
All right, Ned.
Hold on. I would be like, Dillian White was banking on the fact that he beat AJ in the amateurs, and he thought he was going to have the same outcome in that fight when he fought him the second time in the professional fight. So, like, I want to bite trails real quick, and I want to challenge Daniel to be great, yo. You saw the formula Fury put out in both fights. Just copy and emulate it, and easy W. Easy W. So I want that fight. Let's get that fight.
They're done though. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Like, yo, as much as we can laugh at the lack of Wilder's skill, still has that right hand. You know what I mean? And so every person in the heavyweight division still has to be mindful of that. And I'm not sure Daniel Dubois has a skill set to avoid that punch. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying George Joyce, that's a good step up. FA is a good step up. Even Brazil is a good step up. Get through those guys first, then jump into the deep waters of the elite level. That's what I'm saying.
He got Fury in his back pocket to train with, so
Yo, all of these dudes train with the elites, bro. That doesn't mean that they're gonna be spectacular fighters.
Hey man, I just mean he has the better chance to execute that same game plan. So
my thoughts on it. I don't know how good Daniel Dubois is, but then again, I don't know how good Deontay Wilder is either. Would it be a good fight? I think it would be a good fight. But in all fairness, I think Deontay Wilder has bigger fish to fry. What I mean by that is he can get fights with bigger names for more money. So that would be a huge advantage for Daniel Dubois to fight Deontay Wilder and elevate his status by potentially beating Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder is already perceived by some, even Tyson Fury out of his mouth, the toughest guy out there, right? And he still has a legion of fans. So why would Wilder take another fight, which is dangerous, which I would admit that fight is dangerous for Wilder, that has very low reward. If you're gonna get beat by a guy like that, fight Joshua. Get paid, and
at least you get some bread.
Exactly.
At least you get some bread.
Get paid and then get knocked out. And then also, you losing to Joshua doesn't bring you down to contender status. It makes you the third or fourth, fifth, sixth best guy out there. But losing to Dubois, that takes you all the way out of.
Not even in the top 10. If you
As much as I would love to see the fight, I don't think it makes sense for Deontay Wilder at this time. Dubois has to elevate himself. If Wilder did take that fight, however, I give him so much props. I'll be coming up here like Wilder's changed. He's ready to prove. He's ready to prove he can really knock them all out.
Yeah, bro, I'm no longer a Wilder fan. I'll be like, even if you win, you an idiot. You know what I mean? Because why would
I'm not frozen. That's just me saying Wilder would never take a risk of a fight like that. So, you know what I mean?
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Now that matters to him, though. It didn't matter before when he got that $120 million contract. It didn't matter. But it's, at least you learn, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to touch the stove to know it's hot.
Hopefully those was the snakes he got out of his grass that told him not to take that $100 million.
Hopefully he's going back to Lou DiBella, because DiBella, if he would have listened to DiBella, he would have been caked up to this day. All right, who is the A side in negotiations? Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury? Now, there's been a lot, and if you follow this channel, we said that ESPN reported that they were in negotiations. Then someone hit us up and said they're not in negotiations and sent me a link to Eddie Hearn saying that they weren't in negotiations. Then I saw a video where Eddie Hearn said, yeah, there are talks or whatever, but you know, of course, they have to get through their opponents coming up unless their opponents step aside, which is what we said in the beginning. ESPN sticks by what they're saying. They said they got sources that said that they're already in negotiations. Whatever's taking place or whenever it takes place, who's the A side, who's the B side? Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury? Starts one off with Trill.
Wow. That's tricky. That's tricky. To me, it's very, very, very tricky. The reason why I say it's tricky, it depends on where the fight's taking place. You know what I'm saying? We know AJ, to me, probably has the most fans out of them. Even if it's really close, but I say that AJ edges him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends where they have it at. And it depends on the people. People are really crazy. They only believe like the last thing that they see. You know what I'm saying? So people going off their last thing they seen, I don't know. But who's the A side? Who's the B side? They both champions. I bet, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb because I don't know personally. It's so hard for me. I'm going to say that these guys, both of these guys, from their character, they don't care. I bet you they don't care who's the A side or who's the B side. If they're going to get it on, these two guys prove that they don't care about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they going to get it on, they going to get it on. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I can't call it. I'm sorry. I can't call who's going to be the A side or B side. But if you put a gun to my head, you made me pick, I would say AJ would have to be the A side.
Finally, I was like, yo, what's going on, Trill?
You know what I'm saying?
Scaling the fence. I thought the cops was behind him.
Yo, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm being respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because I do realize, you know what I'm saying, new fans that Tyson has gotten. People were surprised. I done seen a lot of well-debts switch over. If you look into our comment section, a lot of them was like, yo, listen, I was once a Wilder supporter. But listen, but after going through them audits, I can no longer support the foolery. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So listen, with all these new fans Tyson Fury got, he got an argument to get, you know, at least a 50-50 or a better deal somewhere in the negotiating when it comes to money. But AJ's always going to be number one.
All right, G.
Yeah, I'm being honest with you. It's a no-brainer, man. AJ's the A side for a number of reasons. he is the cash cow. He literally built an empire, right? You gotta understand, 100,000 people pay money to watch this guy fight. Fury hasn't accomplished that yet, whether it's overseas or here in the States, so let's just be real. Even, I'm gonna be honest with you, although Tyson Fury is a real popular figure right now in the United States, even if the fight is in the US, AJ's still the A side. You know what I mean? And this is like no smoke towards Tyson Fury. It's just a reality. You can't say like, because look, perfect example. Look at pay-per-view buys. Look at ticket sales. Any metrics that you set, AJ surpasses Tyson Fury. So let's just be real. Like, he has to be the A side because he's going to generate more money. He's going to get the people to come out to pay for the pay-per-views. If they said $100 for that pay-per-view fight, right? Which most likely us in the US, we got the zone, so we're probably not going to have to pay. But let's just say they were like, you know what, we're going to make this fight $100 for the pay-per-view. People will be more willing to pay that $100, not because of Tyson Fury, but because of Anthony Joshua. So that's why I think Anthony Joshua is the A side.
Ned?
Man, I'm with Trails on this one. It's kind of hard to pick because both fighters, when it comes down to both fighters, they don't care who's the A side. It's like, let's make this fight happen. Let's make Undisputed happen. And honestly, I can't even pick. Like, I can't even pick who's the A side. I'll just say UK is the A side in this one because they get to see their fighter. Their fighter becomes undisputed and they're gonna be celebrating and bragging about for that for years. So give it to UK. At one point, what was it? Where the Klitschko's from? Are they from? I don't want to say Russia. Are they Germany or Russia? I'm trying to.
Huh?
Where the Klitschko brothers from?
Germany. I'm sorry. They're from Ukraine.
Ukraine. All right. At one point, they dominated the heavyweight division for a long time, and now look at when you see UK. Now UK could dominate the heavyweight division for a long time, and they're the A side now. I give it to them. I give it to the UK. So
about this, Tyson Fury hasn't had a fight in the UK in front of 100,000 people, and on top of that, Tyson Fury's contract is exclusively for the United States. You get what I'm saying? So until I see him break Las Vegas numbers, then I could be like, all right, we might have an argument here. But I don't see that. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure, like, that Wilder Fury Part 2, probably, it might have made the top 10, but it ain't surpassing none of the big fights, or even close to any of the real big fights. So to me, it's like, how can we honestly say, yeah, he is arguably A side for Tyson Fury, like against Anthony Joshua, bro? I don't know.
You know why? Because it already depends. You know why it's so tricky? Like, it depends on how you spin it. You know what I'm saying? It really does. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been plenty of times where certain fighters had more ticket sales than others, and they still came out with a 50-50 split. It doesn't.
No, but it's different from who's the A side, though.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so what is the A side or B side entitled? You know what I'm saying? What does that entitle?
Walk in last, they get pick their corner, what color they want.
All right, you know what's so crazy? Now that you said that, right? Tyson got an argument because they consider him, this guy, the last lineal champion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ring Magazine champion.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
WBC champ.
Considered Michael Spence the same thing when he fought Mike Tyson. I'm just saying.
I agree with y'all. It should be a 50 fight, but AJ should be the one walking in the ring last. You know what I mean? And AJ should be having them a pyro,
I agree.
Whatever, like he usually has. You know what I mean? That should be AJ's.
AJ, I like I said, AJ has the most fans. He definitely has the most fans.
That would be Joshua versus Fury, not Fury versus Joshua.
I can see it. I can definitely see it. Like I said, Anthony is kind of it's tough to me. It's tough, but I can see AJ edging it. Like I said, because I know AJ got more fans. But now I'm thinking since Tyson Fury, it's just been all Tyson Fury now. And sometimes you strike when you hot. When a person is hot right now, he got to say so right now. Not saying that he will be coming out last, but he got some say-so in what's going on in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just to clarify one thing. So Vladimir Klitschko was born in the Soviet Union, which is now Kazakhstan, where he was born. So for me, it's a few things. There are a number of ways to view this. One, who brings in the most money? It's Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has pay-per-view records in the UK for his fight with Klitschko, his fight with Parker, his fight with Andy Ruiz, the rematch. His fight with Andy Ruiz, he made $85 million. In Saudi Arabia, they built an arena for that fight. And they might tear that arena down, but they built it just for the purposes of that fight. This man had them build an arena in record time. Remember we was talking about, like, how they going to build an arena so fast? That's what that man did in Saudi Arabia. So when you talk about popularity, I'd say you have to give it to Anthony Joshua. I mean, on Instagram, which is literally someone just caring enough to type in your name or click on a link about your name and follow you, Tyson Fury has 3.7 million. Anthony Joshua has 11.2 million. I just looked it up. Followers. Now, I don't know how many of them are bots. I remember G used to bring this argument up when we were talking about it. I don't know who has more bots following them. Okay, I don't know. All I know is they got a hell of a lot more people than I have following me and that follow Boxing Bros, which I would say, what's up with that, man? Come on, man.
Follow Boxing Bros. Instagram, on, Twitter, Facebook.
Right. I got less followers than my mama needs to follow me. I heard enough from you, boy. All right, but anyway, basically, if you're going popularity, you got to give it to Anthony Joshua. But Tyson Fury has done things that Joshua hasn't done. Like, he's traveled to Germany to beat Vladimir Klitschko, and he came to the United States and he beat Deontay Wilder. Regardless of what anyone thinks of Deontay Wilder, including myself, Fury actually took the 40% to come to America and beat him, which I would say, fair play to Fury, and he beat him again in a rematch. He has lineal champion. He has status. So Fury has a certain status with him that Joshua doesn't have because he never fought Deontay Wilder. And Wilder was being built as the baddest man on the planet. Fury slayed the baddest man on the planet. They come together. Who's the A side? If you're going in terms of popularity, Anthony Joshua without a debate. I come to it from this perspective. Whatever happened to 50-50? Whatever happened to 50-50? This is not a fight that anyone should be okay with not happening because of money.
Exactly.
Fury has done enough to earn 50%, and Joshua's done enough to earn 50%. Just the public, we should not buy either side coming back saying, oh, they want too much. Oh, there's an A side. There's A side. I agree it is Joshua's the A side, but so what? So what? This man got the last Infinity Stone. He came to America and did your dirty work. 50, the same 50. Way you did the dirty work of cleaning up the division and unifying all the titles, Fury got that last stone. You didn't do it. And I love Joshua. I do. I think he's the A-side. I just said it here. Clear as day. But Fury did something you didn't do. And he made the fight bigger than it would have been had you fought Wilder back then anyway. So you get that man 50%. And y'all get it on. Anything less would be uncivilized.
I get what you're saying.
Listen,
Wilder's Spider-Man.
I agree.
Wilder's Spider-Man. Got you.
That's exactly what I was saying too. There's no way. And you know what? And I see AJ saying, "You got that." I see him saying that. If it came down to it,
I saw the question. It was posed, so I was like, all right, we'll have it. But I mean, I think everyone's in agreement. Like, that's 50-50. All right.
Anybody deserves diva status. It should be Joshua. I'm just saying he should be
allowed. Deserves it, but he shouldn't.
Hold on. You don't ever bring up Diva with Joshua's name, yo. We don't wear costumes to the ring, yo. You hear me? We don't
I
wear
knew where you was
costumes
going.
to the ring.
Even going to that, should enter the ring last. That's what I'm saying.
Don't you bring up Diva with Joshua, okay?
Yeah,
Here's a video of the people who made Deontay Wilder's costume available online. I encourage everyone to check it out. Go watch it. We're not going to show it, but go watch it.
Everything black, but that company he bought his costume from.
I think that the people who made his costume usually design certain types of outfits. You should definitely go check it out. Go check it out. All hail the king. All right. So moving on, we agreed 50-50 for that fight. Terrence Crawford made some comments, and basically what Terrence Crawford said was,
poor Wilder. That's all I wanted to say. Just it's poor Wilder.
Hey yo, the people.
I was sitting here dying, yo, that you brought up that tape of the designers. When I seen that, man, I thought this was another episode of the Tiger King.
I thought the same thing. I was like, yo, this is like
yo, he's not helping himself. He's not helping himself.
Yo, they were like, because the way the title spent it to was like Wilder was blaming them for the loss because they made the costume.
I was, oh my god!
Like, tried it on and he said it was okay. Like, I can't believe it. Like,
this is crazy.
Every day, every week, it gets harder.
It was like he said it was his costume. We was on and we dog checked him. We was like,
and we made him costumes before, but anyway,
with costumes.
I don't know what's going on with Wilder. Hold on, let me get my lipstick. You know what I mean?
I know they do a voice. Yo, he had the voice. Yo, that video is crazy, dog. Yo.
I gotta go see it.
Yeah, but so Terrence Crawford said that he is not the B-side against Errol Spence, and that he's accomplished more in the sport than Errol Spence. Crawford said fighting the guys Errol Spence already beat is a downgrade to him because Errol Spence already beat them. So, do you agree with Terrence Crawford's statements? I'll start one off with G.
This one's a tough one. Because there's nothing like the Fury Joshua debacle. Yo, man, Errol Spence is more known than TC. But I believe TC was champion first and in different divisions. So I don't know, man. I would have to lean towards TC being the A side, you know. And in regards to TC talking about, I don't want to fight Spence's leftovers, I don't necessarily agree with that because it's like, again, we're talking about elite level boxing, you know, like you should be fighting the best. And the fact that you're across the street and you're not fighting the best, to come up with that excuse like, hey, I don't need to fight those guys because they already lost. I don't know. I feel like it does a disservice to the welterweight division. So, I don't know. It's a tough one, man, for me. But, like, I mean, Errol Spence did do good when against Mikey, ticket sale-wise in Dallas. Yo, it's tough, man. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong when I said the A side being TC. I don't really care, man, to be honest with you, who's the A side on that fight. They can also do a 50-50 split. I don't really give a damn. I don't really have a dog in that fight. I just want to see the fight. I just want to see the best fight the best in the welterweight division.
Trill, your thoughts on TC's comments?
TC's comments. TC is absolutely right, yo. TC is right. He was a champion at 135, right? And he went up to 140, and he became undisputed at 140. Then he went up to 147. You know, he fought the guys who he fight. We can say, you know, this, that about his opponents, but he did do it, and we can't take away from his accomplishments. That being said, Earl also did what he did in a quicker time and became unified champ in it's kind of like the same thing we were just saying about with the Tyson Fury and the Anthony Joshua thing. TC ain't a bigger star as an Anthony Joshua, but I think people want to see this fight so bad. Why not make it a 50-50? I think both guys deserve a 50-50. Why not bring it to a 50-50? And about him saying he went and faced Earl Spence's leftovers. Listen, I want to see you in there with them. I want to see how you fare against a Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how you fare against a Sean Porter is tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how you do, because I haven't seen you in there with somebody like a Sean Porter yet. I'm waiting to see that. I'm waiting for somebody to push you, TC, to push you to that gear. I think that you are special, that you do got something, but it hasn't been shown yet. You need somebody to push you over there, and all the best welterweights are over at PVC. So everybody at all the top welterweights at PVC will give you a great fight. So I say, why not a 50-50?
Ned?
Man, listen, TC, you're not the truth. When you step in with the ring, to be the truth, you gotta beat the truth, and that's all I gotta say. TC, stop running your mouth and start signing that contract. Hit him up. Let's make that deal. Let's make that fight. Let's make it happen. End of 2020 or 2021. Let's get it. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so I guess you're not answering the question. Got you.
What's the question?
He said that he's not the B side in a fight with Earl Spence, and then he went on to say he doesn't need to fight the people that Earl Spence already beat, because Earl Spence already beat them.
And I said, TC, you're not the truth. To be the truth, you got to beat the truth. So he is not the truth. Thank you. I answered the question.
Okay. All right.
I guess that doesn't sit well with G.
I don't think it sits well with yourself, but it's okay.
Some
man.
people can't handle the truth.
So I'll address the issue of fighting people that Earl Spence already beat. Just because Earl Spence beat him doesn't mean Terrence Crawford can beat him. In fact, it would be a good way to gauge Terrence Crawford's level. Trill brought up Terrence Crawford's resume in the lower weight division, and I agree. He accomplished a lot at 135 and at 140, but he's campaigning at 147. In 147, Earl Spence has accomplished more than he has. He hasn't even scratched the surface of what Earl Spence has accomplished in 147, and that's the division that they're fighting in. So if they're going to drop weight and fight at 140, TC got that. If they're going to drop weight and fight at 135, TC got that. But because they're fighting at 147, and that's the division that he's trying to win the belt at, Earl Spence already beat Kell Brook. He beat Sean Porter, okay? And he's beating better fighters. He beat Mikey Garcia, but I'm really not naming Mikey Garcia because we all know Walter Waite's not his top thing, but he's beating Algieri. He's beating better fighters. So for me, in 147, he hasn't accomplished more than Earl Spence. So he can say he's accomplished more, but you haven't accomplished more than Earl Spence because you want the welterweight championship. If you want to go back to 140, you can say all that stuff. Well, you can't say you would beat Earl Spence, opponents that Earl Spence is beating, because Earl Spence has beat them, because you're not Earl Spence. Like,
Bless you.
Miguel Cotto beat Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley beat Margarito, and Miguel Cotto lost to Margarito. The point is, you can't say that you're going to beat someone just because someone else beat them. You actually have to prove it in the ring. Right?
I think that comes from, I agree with what you're saying, absolutely. But I think, you know what? I think this came from so much of TC hearing about Spence. You know what I'm saying? How big Spence is, how Spence is big. I think this is him promoting himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I did this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying?
Do it, but when you make the statement, we get to analyze it and dissect it. But for me, I'm on him saying he's accomplished more and that he doesn't need to fight guys who Earl Spence already beat because they already lost to Earl Spence. Well, it's funny, Muhammad Ali lost to Joe Frazier, and then George Foreman beat Joe Frazier. And then Muhammad Ali went in the ring and beat George Foreman.
Yeah.
So that logic is like so flawed, so unintelligent. Anyone like who comes to me with that discussion, clearly, I can keep making references like this as to why examining cross fights and using that logic is so flawed, extremely flawed. If you're better than someone, beat them. Terrence Crawford has no victories over Sean Porter. He doesn't. He has no victories over Kell Brook. How is Kell Brook beneath you? You never beat him. How is Sean Porter beneath you? You never beat him. Earl Spence can say they're beneath him. You can't say that. You never beat them. And that's my problem. Like, the sport of boxing now is everybody's taking victories off of someone else's work. Oh, this guy's beneath me because he lost to this guy. You never fought that guy. You never even beat that guy. So there's not even 6 degrees of separation from you and Earl Spence talking about you because I can see you don't even have that. How can you make that statement? Now about A side. Earl Spence is clearly the A side. Earl Spence had 2 pay-per-view fights against Mikey Garcia and against Sean Porter. Both fights did over 350,000 pay-per-view buys. Terrence Crawford had 2 pay-per-view fights. One against Victor Postel and the other against Amir Khan. Both fights were a dud on pay-per-view. The only people who watched it were their mama and their family. Okay? So let's be real about it. He's not a pay-per-view attraction. Earl got him on level of competition in welterweight division, and he has him on sales. People want to argue his opponent. Who told you to fight that person on pay-per-view? You can't pick the opponent you want to fight on pay-per-view and then blame that opponent for your bad sales because you had the opportunity to pick who you wanted to fight on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I would say to TC. Bro, you the B side. Like it or not, you are the B side. Unless y'all going to fight at 140, you the B side.
Point blank, period.
Not for any of the reasons that Ned just said. Ned was just a classic example of fanboyism. Ned just said, the truth is the truth. Statement, conclusory, no facts, no support, nothing to say. Just a statement that was, that I agree that Earl's the A side, but not with that statement, but didn't support it with any logic or facts. So that's classic fanboyism. That's fanboyism at its finest. But what I would say is, there's nothing wrong with being the B side. Mm-hmm. Floyd Mayweather was the B side to Oscar De La Hoya.
Facts.
And Floyd was pound for pound considered better than Oscar De La Hoya. He was considered more talented than Oscar De La Hoya, but Oscar De La Hoya brought him in. Oscar De La Hoya brought in the money. And lastly, the reason why Earl's the A side, he got more options than you, bro. You don't take what he gives you, he gonna fight Danny Garcia. You don't take what he gives you, he'll rematch. He'll fight Keith Thurman. You don't take what he gives you, he'll rematch Sean Porter. He got fights, bro. You don't got that. You better take that 40% and shut up.
Leave TC alone. People picking on him. People
I actually like TC. So I don't care for that. This is my thing. You got to look at what negotiation is all about. Leverage.
That's what happened. That's his response. His response is a response that you get when somebody keeps saying somebody else's name. You know what I'm saying? People kept on saying Spence's name. Well, listen, I did this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying?
But these guys are going to lose. Now, I understand that these guys are fighters and that they've never sat in like a course for negotiations and they never had to negotiate deals before. But negotiation is truly about leverage. Anyone watching this, it's simply about leverage. What are your other options? The person who has more options is going to win because they have less ways to fail. They have less ways to be in dire need of the deal that you're currently trying to negotiate. If I have no other networks interested in my script except this one network, and I'm fighting over 10% in salary, and they say, you know what, screw it, we don't like the show that much, we're just going to walk away. They got other shows. I got to go back to pushing this script.
I got a monkey wrench. I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in the show right quick. I got a question. Do these fighters, Spence and Crawford, Do they have to fight each other to be considered great? To go down as great for the welterweights? Do these two guys got to fight each other for the culture?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
To be honest with you, man, it just sucks for both of them because I don't think that would be considered in that conversation because Pacquiao and Floyd's still around. So they had a major disadvantage regardless.
I think if Spence beats Pacquiao, he got that. And if TC beats Pacquiao, he'll boost his profile enough to say, give me 50-50. But I don't think they need each other at this moment, no.
They don't have to fight each other. All right, good question. Good answer. I'm still up in the air with it. I just wanted to know what y'all think. What you think, Ned? Do you think they need to fight each other?
Man, listen, the truth, all he needs to do is fight a couple more elite fighters. If we get Canelo on his resume, if we could get Canelo on his resume, if Pacquiao...
Yo, stop. Just stop. Hey, listen. Trill, here's my thing. Here's why he doesn't need TC. TC hasn't beat nobody at 147. TC is living off of what he did at 135 and 140. Now, if TC beat Danny Garcia, if TC beat Sean Porter, if TC beat Manny Pacquiao, he would need to fight TC to prove he's great. But all Earl Spence is doing is crossing off name after name after name at 147, and TC's not getting any. So if he crosses off all the names before TC can get to one, he's great. He don't need TC.
You know what? This is why I disagree with Caden. Because now I think about it, it's the AJ Wilder effect before Wilder took the L from Fury. Although AJ had a better resume, nobody cared because people are like, I still want you to fight Deontay Wilder.
You're wrong already. You didn't care. You're saying nobody cared. You didn't care. People cared that AJ's resume was better.
No, but what I'm saying is everybody still wanted to see that fight regardless. Nobody cared about resumes, nothing, 50 whatever percent. Nobody cared about A-side. They were like, yo, we want to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. That was it. You know what I mean? And I think, I don't know if Trill's implying this, but this might be the same case where.
You're saying that Anthony Joshua wouldn't have been considered a great without fighting Deontay Wilder?
But what I'm saying is.
That was Trill's question, bro.
Well.
That was his question.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I never said that, but I'm just saying, because you say you disagree with me, but that's not what I said. I never said people wouldn't want to still see him fight Terrence Crawford. Trill said that does he need to fight Terrence Crawford to become an all-time great? And I responded to that. No, he doesn't need Terrence Crawford to become an all-time great. Not that people wouldn't want to see him fight Terrence Crawford. So just come correct with the way you word Caden's name. Go ahead.
I agree.
I agree with you. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, G. Like the from the people, does this fight need to happen?
That's what I'm saying. Like for you to say you're the great, like that means you're the greatest in your division. For you to be the greatest in your division, you got to clear out the division. That's how people see it. So that's why I was saying like Wilder had leverage with the negotiations with AJ because he had so many people saying like, nah, bruh, you need to fight Deontay Wilder to be the great. Just like with Floyd Mayweather, he needed to fight Pacquiao for people to be like, you're the greatest. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that too. Floyd didn't need to fight Manny Pacquiao. He was already going to be an all-time great. Everything Floyd accomplished in his career, and you're telling me that Manny Pacquiao fight was going to diminish it? Like, no. To people who felt like Floyd was ducking Pacquiao, maybe they would have held that opinion. But to other people who were being objective and just looking at his career from that standpoint, they would have said, no, Floyd has fought all the best fighters that he could face. And if Pacquiao never happened, I'm not going to sit there and act like Floyd was ducking. That's not what I'm going to do. Here's what I would say. I want to see Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. But what I can't do is ignore the man who's fighting the best competition back to back to back and crossing off names and the one guy who's not. And you're wrong. He doesn't need Terrence Crawford. He just needs to sit back and wait for Terrence Crawford to lose and then fight that guy, like Josh was probably going to do with Fury. Okay? So if you're refusing to fight the best, like I said, you got one thing going for you. You got one thing. Wilder had one thing going for him. He has Sophia. Props to him. He beat Bermain Stavern to get it. And he held Sophia hostage for as long as he could. And never capitalize. At some point, you got to sell that stock. Even if you lose, you got to sell that stock, get that bread. His time to sell that stock was at 120 million. But instead, he stayed in too long, so to speak. You understand? But here's my thing with TC. TC about to be Deontay Wilder. TC's 35, I think.
32.
32 about to be, 32. Old, Spence is young. The longer you wait, the more Spence just going to put them paws on you the longer you wait. You better off taking 40% right now while you closer to your prime and making that fight happen. You just got dropped by Kavalovskis. You can't erase that. You can't erase that. So the more you sit down and play around, when that guy beats you and take that belt, Earl Spence just fight him. So he don't need Terrence Crawford. Just like AJ didn't need Deontay Wilder. Yeah. People were saying AJ needed Wilder, 2 years ago? Now what is everyone saying? Joshua Fury.
Yeah. They don't need them to be great, but we need them fights.
Make the fights when it matter. That's the point. I think it should happen. But don't overestimate your value like, oh, you're going to have to come to me eventually unless you lose. Unless you lose. All right, so we'll move on to the next topic. The WBC is considering allowing remote judging. Remote means that you get to do it from home. You get to do it electronically. The judges will watch the fight on TV and give their scores after watching the rounds on television. Lou DiBella is against this. He said the judges can barely get the fights right when they're sitting ringside. How can you expect them to get it right at home watching the fights on television? So I'll start this one off with Ned. What are your thoughts on allowing judges to judge the fight from home?
If the fights have no judges, then the fights have no fans. And you know what that means? A lower stream of income for Lou DiBella, and it's hurting his pockets. He doesn't want to hurt his pockets for the fight. For his fighters, when he promoting the fight, he don't want to lose money. So that's why Lou, stop being cheap and stop trying to keep everybody safe, man.
What?
I have no clue what you were just talking about.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
All have lost some of our boxing knowledge from listening to it.
What?
Listen, oh man.
Hey, G, can you make sense of this, G? Please.
Did he even answer the question?
I don't know. G, what's your response?
I'll say this. I see what Lou is saying. However, if we're trying to kick back boxing and they're talking about, not having fans at the arenas and, they're really like nervous about this whole COVID-19 thing, then yeah, man, I'm all for having remote judging. However, I think there should be systems in place to make sure that these judges are actually paying attention, to the fight. So there should be a recording the judges observe the fight throughout the fight, because Lou's right. They're already having a hard time ringside, giving correct scores, and sometimes it could be, due to negligence or corruption or influence from the audience. It could be a number of things, right? So then now if you're at home, what if you're watching the fight, but then your kids is running around or people are calling you, you know what I mean? And there's like a number of things that could distract you from watching around it too. And we don't know if you're actually paying attention. So I need to actually see you, the judges, watching the fight, and being actually disciplined and observant towards the fighters. And that's the only way I could say, hey, let's make it happen.
True?
Ned look like he disagreed.
I do.
You know what?
Oh, now you have an opinion, Ned? A real one? All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Ned. What?
Leave Ned alone. Nah, I'm a leave Ned alone.
I want to give him a chance. He just go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Trill.
All right, listen. Yo, G, let me hold this. Walk with me.
All right.
I'm coming from a sympathetic place, from the heart. And I done mentioned this before in episodes of Boxing Bros. I actually think that this will help the judging. You know why? You ever see these poor judges? They're like 70, 80 years old. That's why they're not calling the fight right. They can't see. Maybe this will help. This will give them instant replay. They will be able to see the fight close, and they can score it right. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming from a place of love. These poor guys. You know what I'm saying? This is going to give them the tools so they can perform at their highest capabilities. So to all these judges that I have called you old in the past, I think that this will help you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because you see these guys, they be nodding off on the side of the ring. They can't.
Hey, he's worried about them watching the fight from home. They don't watch it live.
They can't. Listen, at least they're at home and they got instant replay. They can get this right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm for
a major factor that I'd even consider. They will be watching it from the same angle, all three judges. You know, because at ringside, they're seeing it from all different angles, different sides of the ring. If they're watching it from home, they're seeing the very same thing that everyone else is seeing. So I think, that would be great because then now we can at least see some fair, or at least more sound judging because everyone will be looking at the very same thing.
All right, back to Trill. Go ahead, because you was doing your thing, brother. Go ahead. Are you? Is you finished? Is you done? Let me know.
I was just saying, like, no, I just think that this is a great idea. I think this is a great idea for the old judges. You know what I'm saying? So they'll be able to watch this fight and see this fight up close and personal. They got the replay in case they missed something. I think this is perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not opposed to this. You know, and they should have been doing it.
Salute to the
So I had to say bravo to Trill. He stole my notes. So I tell you my exact same thing, bro. It's funny because I'll get younger judges.
Yeah.
Get younger judges. If you're worried about the judges actually sitting ringside to watch the fight and they can have a mask on and everything, then that's a sign your judges are probably too old.
Real.
Also explains why you got so many bad decisions out there.
You got judges out there that judge the Max Bear and the Max Spelling fight. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
They judge Max Bear versus Broderick.
Broderick, yeah. Max Bear versus Broderick. They judge that fight.
Man, that's hilarious. Hey, look, man. Speaking of a man who caught a body in the ring, Max Bear caught two. He was remorseful about both, and it bothered him his entire life. So you run around saying you want a body on the ring, people actually got him, regret him.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
There was other fighters that never, one fighter lost his life on one corner of the ring, and another fighter never went to that other corner of the ring. He had to stop boxing. It's happened. It's real.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
You don't play boxing. You don't play boxing.
Oh, God. Ned, go ahead.
Let me clarify the point I was trying.
Yo, Ned, you muted, dog. Ned muted himself. Yo, Ned knew he was going to say something dumb and he muted himself. Yo, good job, Ned. Good job.
I like your response, Ned.
Thank you.
Now, yeah, get younger judges. And the bros, we're available. We're available to judge these fights if you need us, except Ned. Now, everyone else, I mean, you can bring Ned in.
I'll take a press pass, you know.
Just don't no, not Ned, because if you let Ned judge Earl Spence fight, 120 to 108.
He got everything.
120 to 108.
Wow. Yo, but Earl ain't land that. It don't matter. I'm like, what?
He got dropped that round.
Trill. Yo, Earl will get dropped. And that'll give Earl the 10-8 round. Because he's the truth.
He got backed up. Yeah, you can't sleep the truth, man. Point blank, period.
You saw the way he took that punch, yo. He went like this, and he got back up.
The truth.
I gave him a 10 because he got up like a 10.
I gave him a 10 because he got up before the 10 count.
But so I agree. One, they should have younger judges, but they don't. So you can see the fight better on TV. That's another part of my notes. I've been to several fights live, and I watch it live. When you're live, you take in the atmosphere, but you got people coming, walking by to get to their seats. You got people profiling you, thinking you don't make enough money to sit in the seats that you're sitting in, so they keep asking to see your tickets every time someone's come in and complain. You get stuff like that when you're at the fights that you don't get when you're at home. but you also get to see what landed, what doesn't land. And I can't tell you how many times me and G got over, that didn't land, that landed. We go super slow mode. All right, you got that. I told you, like, so it's you can see the fight better at home. So I agree with Trill. Maybe it will help the judges to see this fight from home and see what actually lands and what doesn't. Like when y'all robbed my man Badu Jack with Jean Pascal, who was hitting gloves, and it sounded like he was hitting gloves. And if you ever was there in the ring, you would know what hitting gloves sound like, because you never heard that sound from someone hitting the chin, but you robbed Badu Jack. But anyway, still, I think it would help these judges to watch the fight from home. And remote judging is better than no judging. I'd rather them judges judge that fight from their house than me not see a fight, because the judges were going to be terrible even if they were at the fight, most of them. So I'd rather see the fight and just hope and pray that the decision comes out right, like I always have to do anyway. There's never been a fight in the history of the sport where I was confident that the judges were going to get it right. So let's be real. How many times, every time you see a fight, at the end, the first things you say is, hopefully the judges will get it right. Like,
that's what you made it. You're absolutely right. They definitely do, or get new judges, because it's a shame. Now we're protecting the judges because they too old, so we protecting them from COVID-19, so they got to do it from home. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. This is what it really is.
Available. We can judge the fight.
Bro.
We can judge the fight. And you know, hey, listen, we can judge the fight. All right, and lastly, not last, I got 2 more points. If the judges score the fight from home, they should, and this, I'm more concerned with this than whether or not the judges are awake. They should have to turn down the commentary. The commentary should be on mute. They shouldn't be able to listen to the commentary. Because you got guys like Sugar Ray Leonard who praises every runner that steps in the ring, because really he's deep down inside trying to justify the decision he got over Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So every time a guy's running, Sugar Ray Leonard's like, oh, it's beautiful boxing.
This is boxing. And he's persuading the people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because it's something that I wanted to bring so people can understand when I was talking on that last thing when I said turn the volume off. Watch these fights with no volume. I bet you come out with a different outcome. People get persuaded by the commentary so much that they think that this person is really winning when they're not. You know what I'm saying? You'll start thinking like, look, he's hitting them with devastating punches. We're at home thinking he missed every shot. You know what I'm saying?
That left hook landed.
No, not at all. You know what I mean? I totally agree.
They shouldn't be watching the same like pay-per-view like footage that we're watching as observers, right? We should have the footage with the commentation and all of that stuff. They should have one without it. Just literally the only thing they hear is the punches in the ring, and that's it.
And they get to see all those angles.
Yeah. And yeah, I think maybe in the beginning they wanted judges at different angles of the ring so that you can have a judge scoring it from different sides of the fight. What we really need is just the judges to see the fight. So I don't need you to show one judge one angle, one judge the other angle, one. Show them the fight the way, like, show them inside the ring what punches are landing and let them judge the fight that way. I think technology has come a long way. In football, in basketball, the camera in slow-mo can show us what we can't see in live action. I'm all for human error, but not in the sport of boxing where a knockdown, a slip. I think all knockdowns, everything should be reviewed. If someone's knocked out and a punch looked like it was behind the head, that should be reviewed. If it landed behind the head, it should be an NC, because this is the sport where L can cost you everything. Well, anyway,
instant replay for boxing. That's what we need.
With it. And
like,
also,
Zab Judah versus Floyd Mayweather. If they had that
knockdown,
we would have seen that knockdown. You know what I mean? The referee said slip, so they're like, all right.
I'm gonna be real with you. That wasn't knockdown. Was that?
His glove hit the ground. Yeah,
was knockdown.
Yeah, his glove. Yeah, so that was a knockdown.
So
but,
but and I mean, maybe the fight goes differently. I don't know, but the point is, we need to get it right. So many times, Kyle Velasquez knocked down TC, and maybe that gives him more, encouragement to keep fighting or whatever. Although I think TC was going to beat him anyway, but still, at least he gets the credit for what he did. Another thing you can do is let the commentators judge the fight, not Al Bernstein, and not. I say I'll be comfortable with Paulie judging the fight. I would.
Nah,
I would. I'd be comfortable with Paulie judging the fight. I'll be comfortable with Roy.
I'll be comfortable with Paulie judging the fight.
Let Andre Ward. I'll be comfortable as long as they have no ties to the fighter. As long as let them judge the fight.
However, this is the problem because their ties are with the promotional company or the network.
The judges got them ties too, bro.
Now, yeah, but the thing is, we know that though. Like, so we as the viewing audience are gonna be like, yo, isn't he contracted by ESPN, and ESPN has a partnership with Matchroom? So then the Matchroom fighter is gonna always get the round if it's a close round. That's not fair. That's bias right there. So
you think Sergio's just gonna score? I mean, I can see that. I mean, I can see that happening, but like you would like to think that. Now that you say that, you're right because I could see Timothy Bradley.
Oh, you are.
Never mind. Nah, Bradley.
Timothy.
Bradley would get on there. He'd be worse than Ned for Spence. It'll be 120-98. Like, damn, how'd you come up with this score? Every round was 10-8. Every round.
That would be Timothy Bradley's round for TC.
All right, man.
I can't believe that really was talking so stupid. Woo, yo, Dad, you know what? You the TBE of strong and wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Ned, the best cameraman in the business.
They love Ned in the Philippines.
Oh.
All right. Andy Ruiz joins Team Canelo. Andy Ruiz is now being trained by Eddie Reynoso. What's your thoughts on that? Trill.
Oh boy. Listen, it's gonna be trouble. It's gonna be what they say, what the old ladies used to say. It's gonna be smoke in the city. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be
said a lot of things. The old ladies just said.
Old ladies, there's gonna be some smoke in the city. Well, listen, I think this was great. This can only help Andy Ruiz. I don't know what Eddie and them are doing out there with. Listen, they already did a great job with Canelo. Now they got Ryan knocking people out in the first round. You know what I'm saying? With the Reynosos and what they doing over there, man. Listen, hey, Wilder's in trouble. Listen, if Andy Ruiz gets his hands where he's with these guys, man, listen. I think this was a great idea. I think this is a great idea, and this is going to put more respect on Andy Ruiz's name. I was thinking about when you just went on your rant about Andy Ruiz in the beginning of this podcast. This is all I was thinking about. He's even going to be more dangerous with these guys in his corner. This only helps. I like it.
G?
Yeah, the news is cute, but I need to know who's his nutritionist because
that's what.
What'd you say, G?
He bringing in Algeria. He bringing in Algeria.
Because Andy done fooled me before and never again. You know what I mean? So it's like,
oh no, I know where you coming from, G. G mad.
G mad.
He said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, never." I get you, G. G's like, he ain't gonna do this to my heart again.
This day on Twitter and everything about his performance, and he demands that AJ run it back. I'm like, bro, you had your chance.
No,
but
he can earn it. He can earn it though.
Yeah, if in fact he could get back in shape, like even the last time I seen him on television in the PBC, bro, he was sweating in the.
I know he was sweating in the interview. He was like Stavern before the Wilder fight, bro. Wilder 2.
He looked like Stavern during the press conference. You know what I mean? You look worse. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just hoping he actually, in addition to his training, he's getting back and eating clean and actually taking this training camp stuff seriously. You know, and that's what I'm more concerned about. Like, obviously, it would be a plus. You know, he's already a great counter fighter. being amongst other great counter fighters in a training system that complements counter fighters, that would be a good look. But I need him to get him a top-notch nutritionist. He can't use his wife anymore. That's out of the picture, man.
Watch your mouth, G. I have a question for you, G.
Yeah.
If Andy Ruiz gets in shape, I mean, the guts are gone, everything.
Oh, I ain't saying that now. Hold on. He got to do it for the big brothers.
That's what my point was. If Andy Ruiz gets in shape and he's no longer, he no longer has like the little gut and everything, he's bordering on like a 6-pack. He got the 1-pack, not a 6-pack, but the 1-pack where it's just all flat, right? Does he still represent for the big boys?
Hey, man, my motto, under the fat is a 6-pack maniac. So it is, man. You know what I mean? Hey, all I'm saying is he could do what he could do as a big boy. Trust me, this is what I honestly believe. He could do that. He just needs to stay at, like, I think ideally, I would say 255, 260 the max for Ruiz. Stay around that range, he's going to be great in the ring. Anything above, I'm being honest with you, when he's at PBC, he looked like he was like 300 plus. A solid 300. If Tyson Fury said he was 400-something pounds, Ruiz was definitely probably like 325 during that recording on the PBC. You know what I mean? So he just needs to drop down the weight, just get a good nutritionist. Just lay off the carbs for a little bit. You ain't got to eat the tortillas. You ain't got to eat the Snickers. You know what I mean? Just eat some salads and then do it for the big boys. You know what I mean? Ruiz, I'll do this promise with you. I'll lose weight with you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, they do it. Let's do it.
You hear that, Ruiz?
Hey,
you hear that? You and G.
Yo, listen, man.
Y'all in training camp together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could lose this COVID-19, bro. Let me know. I mean,
Ned.
Hey man, props. It's all good to see, him going Canelo, working with Canelo, training with them. But if he does get in shape, it's that chicken, man. You know what I'm talking about. It's that chicken. There's something in that chicken, It's that special chicken. That's why he went over there in the first place. But now,
remember, it was the tacos that
taco meat, man.
Taco meat, bro. It was the beef, the ground beef. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the cows over there.
And life's still sharp and stale, so it'd be dope to see what he could learn from that training camp or from Canelo's group camp and see what he could do with it when this whole thing clears up. But that'll be pretty dope to see it out there. I'm excited for it. It makes Andy look dangerous again.
Well, I think it's a great move. I think it's a great move for a number of reasons. One, he's Mexican. He's proud of being Mexican. You can see how much it meant to him when Mexico embraced him. And so being with Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia, Eddie Reynoso, he's going to be around his heritage. He's going to be around Mexican people. But you look at Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia, they're always in the gym. They're always training. And they got their shirts off. Sometimes you see Canelo with the sweatsuit on, but Canelo's working. And you see Canelo, he's always ripped up. And, I don't talk about things that, whatever, because Trill said it and a number of people said it before. Everyone in the sport taking some. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not, my thing is this. As long as you pass that test, when it's time to pass that test, I can't say nothing to you. So, but if you fail that test, big baby,
we going in on you.
Yeah, if you fail that test, you on my next segment. But
you better learn how to hide it.
I can say, I can speculate all I want, right? Like if someone cheats and passed the test and you speculate they cheated, but you got no proof, you gotta give them that grade. This is what it is. So they're always in the gym, they're always working, and maybe that can rub off on Ruiz. I think Ruiz is around people who aren't champion, because you see like his friends who are drinking, who are encouraging him to drink, who are encouraging him to go out instead of being in the gym. Those are guys who don't fight. Those are guys whose career don't rely on them being physically fit. So they don't care if he's having a drink. They don't care because they're not going to get punched in the face by Anthony Joshua. So they don't care, right? But now you got Canelo and you got other people around you who eat, sleep, and breathe this boxing. And they're from Mexico. And they fight for the banner that you want to represent in the nation that you want to represent. So you got to keep it real. But I'm going to keep it real. Andy Ruiz from America. Andy Ruiz is from California. Andy Ruiz is Mexican-American. Shouldn't diminish Mexico loving him because he is Mexican. You put the Mexican before American. See, for us, they have us say we're African-American. We put the African before American. Why? It's to remind us that America isn't where we're from. It's not our place of origin, right? I was born in America. I never been to Africa. But they call me African-American. They don't call me American. Why not? So as long as I have to be called African-American, right? If I do something great, I should be able to shout out Africa, right? Although there's some people who won't accept me as being African, but whatever. The point is, I should be able to shout out Africa, right? If I do something great, because you make me say I'm African before I say I'm American. So Ruiz should be able to shout out Mexico, because they make him say he's Mexican before they say he's American. So I still have to say, Puerto Rico, man, support Danny Garcia. Support Danny Garcia. Don't say he was born in Philly, so he's not Puerto Rican. Mexico, support Andy Ruiz. Don't say he was born in California, so he's not Mexican. Because in America, what they make him say is he's Mexican-American. What they make black people say is they're African-American. They make Danny Garcia as a Puerto Rican-American.
Yo, oh yeah, and to add too, people in the comments with one of our videos about AJ, they're like, yo, AJ is not Nigerian. You know what I mean? He's a Brit. It's like, yo, come on, fam. Like, and same thing with F.A. Ajaba said the very same thing. Anthony Joshua is not Nigerian. It's like, yo, how you gonna tell this dude what he's not? It's crazy, you know?
All I know is everyone describes me, even when I don't tell them. Even when they say, oh, he's African-American. And I want to know, not that I'm ashamed of my roots or where my roots originated. It's just, why do you need to say I'm African? You don't say that for other people. They're just American. And then they'll say,
we always say that. We don't call them European Americans.
And then they say, go back, and then they say, go back to your country. This is my country. I was born here. I've never been anywhere else. We just go back to this is my country. So I say all that to say,
generation Europeans still just be American. Yeah.
So my point is, if I gotta say African before I say American, and Ruiz gotta say Mexican before he says American, then he should be able to wave that Mexican flag. Because trust me, he represents you here in America, but he is still American. So with that being said, Ruiz is American. He's an American fighter. And truth be told, to me, he's the best hope that America has for the heavyweight division. He's already been champion. He's already defeated Anthony Joshua. And in the rematch, he showed up 283 pounds. I'm not making an excuse for him because he chose to show up that way. Just like Terrence Crawford decided to fight Amir Khan on pay-per-view. But I will say this. If Andy Ruiz gets in shape, if Andy Ruiz does what he's supposed to do, if Andy Ruiz shows up, he's a dangerous fighter for any heavyweight, especially Deontay Wilder. And then I would love to see Joshua fight Andy Ruiz, who's in tip-top shape and who's had a solid training camp. And then maybe, just maybe, people won't be laughing at American heavyweights so much like they've been doing in the comment section. And they got that. Fair play. But I don't look at the heavyweight division as where the heavyweight is from. I look at it as strictly talent. If I did that, I'd be hating on Fury. I'd be hating on Joshua. To me, it's just purely talent. But some people, they come and be like, oh, America don't have nothing. And they forget America gave Joshua his first loss. And so, with that being said, I don't view it that way. But as far as Andy Ruiz goes, he's the best hope for American boxing. And it would be nice to see Andy Ruiz get in shape and actually make these fights. and actually fight Dillian White, because he's calling you out, brother. So get in shape. If you need to take out Dinosaur Ortiz, do that. And then Dillian White. I'll go straight to Dillian. But I'm excited about the news. It's good news.
He don't want that smoke.
Who don't want smoke?
Dillian White don't want that Andy Ruiz smoke.
I don't know about that, man.
We don't want that smoke.
I think Dillian's praying for smoke. He wants some kind of smoke.
In top-notch shape for that fight, because I don't want to hear no excuses after.
Nah, Dillian's looking good. I saw Dillian training. Dillian's back. He's in good shape.
I was about to make a bet, but I was like, I'm not even going to do it.
Ortiz and Dillian.
Yo, man. Oh, you said who?
Ortiz and Dillian.
Wait, who? Dillian will crush him.
That's the fight he needs.
I thought you said Ruiz. I'm like, what?
Oh, you said Ruiz needs Ortiz or Dillian? Or are you saying Dillian versus Ortiz?
I think that's a good fight for Dillian. Dillian versus Ortiz. That's a nice fight, man.
I don't think Dillian wants that, man. Dillian wants them fights, yo. Dillian's tired of being.
Listen, Dillian ain't getting no fights. We already said that. He's never gonna fight nobody. He is on block. Dillian ain't getting no fights. Yo, all this wishful thinking. Poor Dillian.
They don't want to fight Dillian, man. I believe Dillian will step in the ring with any of them. He's praying for some type of smoke. He needs a fight. He's begging for it. He's out there. He's in Instagram.
He'll fight for free. Dillian will fight for free right now. As long as they give him a title, as long as they give him a belt, he'll fight. Poor Dillian.
All right, well, that concludes the podcast. We don't have much more to talk about. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for watching the podcast, tuning in to Boxing Bros. Hopefully, you'll join us for another video.
Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Twitter.
We got
and check out our podcast.
A platform we don't know about.
I know. I just invented a new one. Check out our podcast on all major streaming services. It's the Boxing Bros. Peace.